Scorpio, breathe with me for a moment, because the energy moving toward you between December 5th and 7 is not gentle rain. It is a storm of blessings, money and love, provision and connection, relief and remembrance, surging toward your life at the same time. You did not stumble into this message by accident. You were pulled here almost magnetically by something in your spirit that recognizes, even if your mind doesn't fully understand yet, that a turning point is approaching. This is not just another video, not just another reading. This is a sacred checkpoint in your journey, a moment where heaven leans a little closer and whispers, "Watch what I am about to do through you." If you feel that subtle vibration in your chest, that quiet sense of anticipation with no visible reason, that's your confirmation. Your season of separation is shifting into a season of convergence. Think about how this year has felt, Scorpio. The push and pull, the almosts, the doors that opened halfway and then shut without explanation, the relationships that stirred your heart but couldn't hold your depth, the money that showed up just in time to keep you afloat, but not enough to let you fully rest. You have been living in the tension between not enough and almost there for far too long. Between December 5th and 7, that tension begins to unwind. The universe is not making you choose between abundance and love, between stability and softness. It is writing you into a story where both exist side by side, where your heart is held and your needs are met, where your soul is nourished and your life is supported. You are stepping into a reality where you do not have to sacrifice one sacred part of yourself to keep another alive. As I tune into your field, I see the 10 of Pentacles glowing like a seal of promise. This is not superficial money energy. This is legacy frequency, resources that build, land that anchors, security that stretches into the years ahead. It speaks of foundations laid in silence, of work you did when nobody was watching, of responsibilities you carried alone because there was no one else who would step up. You have poured into others, family, partners, colleagues, even strangers who saw your light and came to warm their hands by it. For a long time, energy left you and didn't return in equal measure. With this card, that imbalance begins to correct. The seeds you sowed in seasons of scarcity are starting to sprout in seasons of favor. Right beside it, the Ace of Cups overflows. This is where love enters the story, not the chaotic, confusing, half-present love of the past, but a calmer, cleaner, kinder tide. This energy doesn't come in shouting. It arrives like dawn creeping under a doorframe. You may meet someone new whose presence feels strangely familiar, or an existing connection may deepen suddenly, shifting from surface to soul. It could even be a softening within your own heart, a willingness to trust again, to feel again, to let your guard down in a way you quietly promised you never would. The Ace of Cups brings healing waters to places inside you that have been dry for years. Where you once felt numb, there is the possibility of warmth. Where you once braced for abandonment, there is the possibility of being gently, consistently, beautifully chosen. The Two of Pentacles also appears, but not as a warning that you're juggling too much. In this spread, it shows you learning to hold multiple blessings without dropping yourself. Once upon a time, Scorpio, when money came in, love fell apart. When love blossomed, your finances shattered. When you focused on healing your heart, your responsibilities piled up. Always one thing at the cost of another. The universe is rewriting that pattern now. The Two of Pentacles says, you are ready to manage increase. You are ready to hold both softness and strength, intimacy and independence, generosity and boundaries. You don't have to abandon one part of your life to sustain another. This is not a test of endurance anymore. It is an invitation into balance. Astrologically, the window around December 5 to 7 opens a rare energetic doorway for you. Imagine a cosmic triangle formed between your emotional world, your values, and your sense of purpose. Moon, Venus, and a supportive solar current humming together. This is not about exact planets on an exact chart. This is about the language of energy moving through your sign. You may feel emotionally heightened, memories stirring from nowhere, or sudden clarity about what you will and will not accept moving forward. You may wake up one of these mornings with a new idea about how to earn, share, or save money that actually feels aligned with who you are now. You may receive a message, an email, a call, a direct deposit, a generous gesture that confirms this movement in real time. Pay close attention to the small details during these days. A conversation that unexpectedly turns supportive, a bill that gets reduced, a client who finally pays, a person who reaches out with sincerity, a door you thought was permanently closed suddenly creaks open a crack. These may look small from the outside, but spiritually they are signals. The storm is moving closer. The wheel of fortune turns in your favor during this period, not as random luck, but as a response to your long-term alignment. This storm of blessings is not a reward for being perfect. It's a response to the fact that you kept showing up, kept healing, kept choosing a softer heart when bitterness would have been easier. Yet even as abundance and love surge toward you, the Three of Swords lingers at the edge of your reading, not to reopen wounds, but to acknowledge them. You have been disappointed before, times when the promise of "this is your moment" dissolved into "not yet." Times when love looked like sanctuary but became a battlefield. Times when money came attached to strings, control, or shame. This card doesn't negate what is coming. It simply reminds us that your heart remembers. That's why, as blessings approach, you might feel a strange mix of excitement and fear. What if this is another almost? What if I'm being set up to fall again? The universe does not shame you for these thoughts. Instead, it invites you to bring them into the light. Between December 5 and 7, speak honestly with yourself. I am allowed to receive without reliving the past. I am allowed to trust slowly. I am allowed to say yes even while my hands still shake. In the realm of money, the Nine of Pentacles radiates in your aura. This is the energy of self-earned dignity, of finally seeing in physical form what you have carried in spiritual form for so long: capability, resourcefulness, and quiet strength. You may find yourself making decisions that reflect a new level of self-respect, raising your prices, negotiating fairly, saying no to situations that drain you financially or emotionally. This is not greed, it is alignment. When you handle your resources with more reverence, the universe responds by placing more in your hands. This storm of blessings is not designed to drown you in excess. It is designed to water the garden of your purpose. Love, meanwhile, begins to thread itself through the corners of your life in subtle ways. You might notice that your standards have shifted. The High Priestess energy in your field shows that your intuition around relationships is sharper now. What used to attract you no longer does if it doesn't match your emotional maturity. You're less impressed by grand promises and more attentive to consistency, kindness, attentiveness, and emotional safety. Someone may come into your life or re-enter it with a different energy than before. Less noise, more intention, but this time you don't override your inner knowing to make them fit. You can enjoy connection without abandoning discernment. You can open your heart without opening the door to chaos. And Scorpio, this storm of blessings is not just external. There is an internal abundance rising as well. The abundance of peace in your nervous system, the abundance of self-trust, the abundance of being able to sit alone in a room and feel companioned by your own spirit, rather than haunted by your past. You are being supported in healing patterns that used to tangle your money and love stories together in painful ways. Where you once overspent to prove your worth, you begin to give and receive from a place of genuine overflow. Where you once chased emotionally unavailable people, You begin to attract those who can actually sit with your depth. Where you once hid your needs, you begin to speak them softly, without apology. Between December 5 and 7, carve out a small ritual, even if it's just 10 quiet minutes. Light a candle, gold, white or soft pink if you have it. Place your hand over your heart and breathe deeply. Visualize a gentle golden rain falling over your life, over your home, your bank account, your relationships, your body, your mind. See that rain not as random luck, but as accumulated blessings finally finding a clear pathway to reach you. Whisper to yourself, I make room for blessings that are good for me. I am safe to receive. I am safe to be loved and supported. This is how you attune your field to what is already on its way. You may also feel old energies pulling at you as this surge approaches. People who once drained your resources or took your love for granted might sense the shift and try to re-enter your orbit. The Two of Swords appears here as a reminder. You are allowed to choose peace over history. You are not obligated to hand your new blessings back into old hands. You can be kind without being accessible. You can forgive without offering a front-row seat in your life. This storm of blessings is not meant to fund old cycles. It is meant to support the version of you who finally believes they deserve more. In family dynamics, you might experience small but meaningful openings. A conversation that used to end in defensiveness might suddenly soften. A loved one might express appreciation that they rarely put into words. A younger family member might look up to you, and through their eyes you remember who you were before you were wounded. Money and love are not separate here. They intertwine in the way you feel seen, respected, and emotionally nourished. Even if certain relationships remain complicated, your relationship with yourself begins to steady. You stop waiting for others to validate that you deserve good things. Instead, you begin behaving as if you do, and the universe echoes that behavior back in unexpected ways. The Sun card lights up this reading as a reminder. Joy is not a myth. It is a medicine you are allowed to taste again. This doesn't mean your life becomes perfect overnight, but it does mean the ratio changes. More ease, less struggle. More clarity, less confusion. More support, less isolation. Let this message sink into you slowly, like warm water into tired hands. What you are hearing now is not a rigid guarantee, but a spiritual reflection of possibilities opening around you, a story-shaped mirror held up to the energy you're stepping into. This is a poetic way of describing a potential timeline, not a contract carved in stone. If what you're hearing resonates, if it soothes, ignites, or gently challenges you, take the parts that feel like truth and let them encourage your next steps. If some parts do not fit your reality, let them drift by like clouds across a bright sky. Not every word is for every soul, and that is perfectly okay. Think of this message as a contemplative journey for your heart and intuition, an invitation to notice how you already carry the power to shift your energy, open to blessings and co-create a different experience of love and abundance, whether it arrives through a bank transfer, a conversation, or a quiet change within your own spirit. So, Scorpio, as December 5-7 draws near, ask yourself gently, what would it look like if I truly believed a storm of blessings could find me? Maybe you would clear old debts, both financial and emotional. Maybe you would release guilt around wanting more. Maybe you would allow yourself to be treated with more tenderness. Maybe you would stop apologizing for the size of your dreams. The universe moves most easily toward those who are willing to open the door, even if their hands tremble on the handle. You don't have to know exactly how this abundance and love will arrive. You only have to stop assuming that it won't. If your soul is whispering, "This is for me," honor that. Let that whisper become a quiet declaration in your heart. I am ready for blessings from all directions. I am ready to be supported and loved in ways that are healthy and true. Breathe that in. Let it echo a little. The storm is already forming beyond the horizon. Money, love, peace, and healing are gathering speed. Between December 5th and 7, you are not just waiting for something to happen. You are meeting what has been slowly, faithfully, divinely making its way to you for a very long time.